All right, here we go. Welcome in. It is a Monday edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. That's Devin Caney below. That's Harry Mays to your screen left. And I'm Eitan Shader. Thank you for joining us. Matt Jericho is producing. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. The Eagles are 9-1. We'll look back at everything that happened. We have a Monday night football game. Thursday night is now Thursday with Thanksgiving right around the corner. So lines are up, everything along those lines.
Some good games on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Actually, all three of them I'm interested in.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they're all three watchable games.
Now, that is a parlay of circumstances that I did not think we would be hitting today, Devin, which is that we have found a day in which Harry is invested in everything going on. Not all. Look, let me just say, this came in the mail. So, 96-page edition of the Mad Magazine stocking stuffer is here, Harry. And I'm going to re-gift this to some kids.
I didn't know they still printed that magazine.
I didn't either. Is that like a collector's item or?
It is. It is. It's not only a collector's item.
Re-gift it. You should keep it.
Well, you're right. You know what?
Did you get that at the dispensary with your order? Like you bought so much that they threw in a Mad Magazine?
You know, if I'm seriously outside of like just an apparatus store, like a head shop, they call it, or a food store, you know, if you owned a Mad Magazine or something along those lines and you wanted to shove it out there, you're probably right. The dispensary would be a good place.
Yeah.
But no. I'm surprised. This came in the mail. I didn't realize. I thought we canceled the subscription, and everything is in color. Isn't that wild? You can't see it because of my green screen behind me, but everything is in color now in Mad.
Wow.
So I did not know that at all. This is something, Harry, no matter what you have going on Thanksgiving, no matter how wide of a conversation you may be on with you can always go back to the Mad Magazine on Thanksgiving. That's why it's there.
Okay.
That's why.
Good to know.
Yep, absolutely.
Jesus.
So the Eagles didn't cover, and they didn't cover live for a lot of people as well. And I'm sure that from a betting standpoint, unless you bet the Colts, which I don't think any of us did, right?
No.
So that game,
away.
That game was pretty much a dud. I mean, on the show, it doesn't count because I didn't give it out on the show, but we had a little bit of Quez love going on the Discord, but nothing. I mean, from Friday, I'm just trying to think of what we talked about here on this show. I don't did much hit from this game?
Literally, I had nothing. I had nothing hit. Well, I didn't place too many bets on this game, honestly. Like, if I were to make a prediction, I thought the Eagles were going to win and potentially cover, but I had like maybe a few anytime touchdowns, and none of them hit. Like, I had Jack Stoll, like some of like the backup tight ends, Zach Pascal. None of that happened. So, none of my bets hit from yesterday in general.
It was a good game for the two old fat guys, though.
Who's that?
It was.
Well, Sue and Joseph. I mean, they showed up. Yeah. I mean, they balled out, those guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, this is here's the thing. I know damn well that if the Philadelphia Eagles lost that game, there would be such an over the top, ridiculous overreaction because they're 9-2. They lost 2 straight. They lost to Jeff Saturday, of all people. Like, they lost to the Colts, end the season, fire everybody in that regard. But at the same time, like, I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
they combined for a sack, those two. They each had a half a sack, couple of tackles.
The game from outside of a betting standpoint, that game meant absolutely nothing in the big scheme of things.
Really? I watched that at a bar with like 5,000 Eagle fans. It's the first time I've done that in years.
5,000? No
way. At least this
5,
place was packed.
No way there were 5.
Barnaby's in Havertown. It was people wall to wall. You couldn't have fit another person in that place on Sunday.
Yeah.
No way.
No, that place is fun to watch on game days. So Harry might not be exaggerating there.
No, it is.
Hold on. What's max capacity? What is it? Barnaby's?
Barnaby's in Havertown.
Whatever. Maybe it can fit 5,000 people, but
I couldn't get a parking space. I know that.
Oh, okay. So that's really what this was about.
Right.
Yeah. No. Okay. Barnaby's in America.
Yeah, and they got great chicken jerk chicken wings, like the jerk spice on them.
Ooh. Yeah.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
They got good awning work over there.
They do.
Not
but
bad.
I needed that teaser. I needed both ends of the teaser to win that Jets-Ravens debacle. How about some of the games in the Northeast yesterday with the wind? I mean, the offense, was just non-existent in some of these places.
The Ravens Panthers, like I was watching the Eagles game for work, so I can't even watch really Red Zone. And whenever the score came up on the bottom like bug, it was like how is that? It was like the fourth quarter, and it was 3-3 in that Panthers Ravens game.
The Jets had 2 yards of offense in the second half of their game.
Well, they weren't doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So watching, because I was fully invested in that Patriots game on New England side. I had the under in that game, hit the under again at the half, and then also had a same game parlay, which should have hit 2 times over, basically just the Patriots and Zach Wilson to throw a pick. Now, Zach Wilson should have been picked off 2 times, and in both cases,
they dropped the ball.
I mean, I can't. And look, those guys are on that side of the ball for the reasons, I can't.
That's why they play defense.
Look, I think what was surprising to me wasn't necessarily that neither New England nor the Jets were going to pull out of their game plan. Like, they weren't going to ask Mac Jones or Zach Wilson to start throwing against that win. But if you looked at some of the play calling by Baltimore was ridiculous. Some of that, I mean, it was basically just, hey, man, we're not going to move the football in the air much. It's a lot of wind. It's a lot of difficulty with just moving the ball down the field. If we're lucky to get something between our guards, we're good. And then maybe some lateral stuff. Like, it just seemed like they tucked that game in and thought, all right, we don't need to be creative. We don't really need to do much to beat Carolina. They won the game. I'm not going to say anything. Harry, you're right. We teased that down on the show to 6.5. That was one that did hit on Friday, but it was so uninspiring watching that game.
I didn't see one lick of it, but how about my Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I mean, come on. We were on Dallas. We were on Dallas for the entire week.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you I cashed out on Sunday night. I cashed out.
You cashed out of Minnesota.
And Dak Prescott. Now, that was a heavy one there.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, and they go to Tony Pollard.
Yeah, how about that? And on Saturday, that Baylor game was a tremendous football game. They should have won the damn game. The coaches screwed that game up. I mean, you get the ball there, and their whole idea was just to get TCU to use their timeouts. They had no intention of really getting a first down. If they would have gotten a first down, the game would have been over.
Yeah.
The 2 play calls on first and second down were just give-ups.
Yeah, I don't know why that was the case. I don't know if they were trying to milk clock in the sense of not having to give it back.
Yeah.
Frustrated. Look, we both got it. We got Baylor plus 2.5.
Yeah.
You had them on the money line, too?
I did, too. Yeah. I mean, shit, that should have hit. UCLA was a good game. A lot of scoring, as we figured.
We had the Trojans on that one. I'm trying to think, what was the worst? Let's see. The worst kick in the face for me this week.
You didn't have Tennessee, did you?
The Vols?
Volunteers. They got smoked.
No. So the only college one that we gave out on Friday that did not hit was Western Kentucky, Illinois, Arkansas money line, Baylor, and then Oregon money line because they were plus money because of all the things going on with Knicks. Let's see.
That's a pretty impressive showing out of Oregon, though, at Utah.
Yeah, it was.
Normally Utah handles them physically, and that they showed up.
The one kick in the ass for me that before we. And I'll see what you all have. But I was over 66.5 at Bedlam.
Yeah, me too.
This game had, 30 points, Harry, halfway through the first quarter?
And then it went to sleep. Yeah, the whole game went to sleep.
I was so tempted to just double unit live bet the under at that point. And just be like, because you knew it's, that was, I don't know about for you, for Devin, for you, Harry, but that was the worst for me.
Well, the worst for me was Baylor not finding a way to win that game because they had
covered the spread, though.
I know, but I'm greedy.
I didn't have any college bets, but Cherico just brought up the Titans-Packers game Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers being officially dead. I mean, that's a factor to think of with this Sunday night football coming up. But I had a few in that Packers game that didn't hit, and I think they were all props that were on, like Aaron Rodgers, passing yardage, stuff like that. Because, I feel like Derrick Henry, aside from week 10, was this week 11, is a safe bet. Just get the over yards, anytime touchdown for Derrick Henry.
But he didn't hit the over in yards. His yards was 99.
Maybe was that the one that didn't? Because I knew he let me down in one of my parlays.
He ended up in the 80s
last week.
He ended up in the 80s in rushing.
Never mind. Derrick Henry did let me down.
Because I had it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let's look at Monday Night Football here. We'll bounce around some interesting college action, especially Temple, and I want to kind of look at that game. But Monday night, Kyler Murray's out. Marquise Brown is out. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable. He hasn't officially been ruled out, but
does he ever play anymore?
But look, I mean, this is the perfect, like, man, I'm not playing tonight. I mean, why would you play tonight, right?
Right.
If that's the case. But look, stranger things have happened. Colt McCoy, the Cardinals. I am on, and I don't know if it's dipped yet. It was hovering. It was fluttering, if you will. But I saw it at 10. I'm going to take it at 10. We've seen right through Baltimore, Harry. We've seen how difficult it is for these double-digit favorites to cover against dogs. I don't care what the circumstances. The circumstances change for each one of these double-digit favorites that are failing to cover. So I jumped on Arizona plus 10.
Okay.
And here's a big reason why is coach history between the two. If you look at both of these guys, at least straight up, there's an angle here that you can start to reason that Cliff Kingsbury's not going to ask the world from Colt McCoy and has already found out a way in which how to take advantage of some stuff with Shanahan. So just looking at this straight up, Shanahan is 12-25-1 against the spread as a favorite of more than 6 in the regular season. It's not great. He's 2-4-1 against the spread versus Kingsbury just career-wise. There's enough there. Yeah, Ertz is out, right? We knew that on the ER. Good reminder there, Jericho. Thanks. So, look, everybody thinks this is it. Neutral field. You're telling me this is now a 13-point spread on a neutral field. Well, it is a 10-point spread.
It's 10. Yeah.
So it's a 7-point spread in San Francisco.
Arizona is 7-2 ATS in their last 9 against San Francisco. And that's all Kingsbury.
Telling you.
So that's interesting. I think it's going to be a bust-out game for George Kittle tonight. This Arizona defense stinks out loud, and they do not cover a tight end. If you look at what they've done against tight ends this year, take Kelsey out of it because he kills everybody.
Yep.
But Fant, Higbee, and Goddard all torched them, and they've given up 7 touchdown passes or receiving touchdowns to tight ends this year. I'm going to go Kittle over 41.5 receiving yards.
Oh, you let me down, Harry. Come on, give it to me.
What are you thinking? And
come on. That can't be it, right?
No. And anytime touchdown at plus 170 for George. And I'm actually going to go against you with the Niners, but I'm taking first half -6 Niners.
You can get that at 4.5 right now. You sure?
Well, I just saw it at 6.
BetMGM might have it still at 4.
All right, I don't have that.
I'm sorry, Devin.
So you're having Niners covering just in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what.
And but do you agree with Aton with Cardinals covering overall?
That could be backdoored. Yeah, I mean,
it was at 4.5 earlier in the day.
It's
so that's
6 now.
You know, Harry, that's moved to 6 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Devin, you're onto something too, where you could you can win that first half and backdoor that 10.
Right. What about James Conner? Do we think he's going to be able to do anything against this Niners defense?
Here's the thing, and it's going to correlate to a little bit of a long shot play for me, which I'll hold off for a second, but he's it. Like, there's only one other guy right now, I think, that's healthy below him on the depth chart. So if the Arizona Cardinals want to run the football, they pretty much have no other choice, especially now that Colt McCoy's there and it's not Kyler Murray.
Right. That's why I'm liking, I don't know if maybe anytime touchdown involved in a parlay or like over. I need to see what the total rushing yards are for James Conner. But I think I like that because he really is like one of the only options that they have.
It's really the only thing you're going to get from him right
now. So rushing yards for James Conner, at least on FanDuel, 51.5. Rushing and receiving 74.5.
74.5. I'd take that.
I mean, I think I would just, I don't know. You'd have to look at the numbers for receiving. Rushing is 49.5, you said?
51.5, I think.
So 49.5 at Unibet. There you go.
Oh.
Now you're under that number 50. Mm-hmm. Not bad. That's actually beating Penny by 2 yards.
And then receiving, 19.5.
I mean, I don't hate it. You're buying your. The problem is, like, I like when there's a smaller number for receiving that adds to it because then you can buy yourself a little bit more. I think you're on to the rush. I mean, 49.5 seems like a good number for rushing. Look, the Niners have struggled clearly with this team. This is not a typical road game. You're in Mexico City. The altitude is higher than it was in Denver. Granted, San Fran played in Denver already this year. Mm-hmm. I think this is a lower scoring game as a whole. It would make sense that the Cardinals would do that. I looked at this and thought, all right, who else is there, right? There's only one other guy right now that's on this team, and I got him at plus 1,000, so a $10 bet will win you $100.
Robbie Anderson?
No, it's actually Keontae Ingram. Keontae Ingram is the backup right now running back for James Conner. So while I love and I will play the over 49.5 rushing yards for Conner, shit happens, right? Like somebody needs a breath. Somebody rolls an ankle. Somebody hits his head and needs to be checked out for 3 plays. And that's a seat filler. So Keontae Ingram is a seat filler touchdown here, where all he's doing is just buying time for the main guy to come back. And these things pay off exponentially. And look, they don't pay off all the time, but you have to find circumstances like this. You like that?
Is that a moon shot?
No, that's my shot. All
okay.
right. So if you see Kenny McAndrews giving this out anytime later, I want the credit.
He grifted it from you.
Exactly. Although, look, I hit Juwan Johnson this week because of him, so that's fine. Last one that I would throw that again is an anytime here would be Trey McBride. Now he's the guy filling in for Zach Ertz. And what I always love about this, and we see this with Mark Andrews. Hell, we saw this, and I was with you. I played the same thing on, I think, Thursday when it came up, was Stoll, because you saw him at least targeted. Everybody thinks that as soon as your main big beast of a tight end goes down, the position dies, right? Like, oh, no, they're not going to throw. The tight end is still involved. Like McBride, right? McBride, he's still going to run the same routes that Zach Ertz runs in these. It's not like they're going to remove the tight end from the offense. So McBride, anytime touchdown, $10 wins you $50. 2+ touchdowns, $10 wins you $750.
Well, especially since the backup quarterback is playing. I mean, McBride and Colt McCoy probably have a little bit of chemistry, more so than McCoy playing with Ertz, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
Room together on the road.
Yeah. So that's good. That's a good idea there. I'm going to take soccer. I hit with England this morning. That was an ugly game. I mean, that got away fast, which was fine with me.
Come on, like that was easy money, though.
It was, and so is France over Australia at -380. That's easy money. USA plus 145 today against Wales. I'm taking it.
Why are you betting all this shit?
Because I want to watch it.
You're not going to watch it.
I was going through last night because I had such a bad day with NFL, and I've literally never bet soccer before in my life. I do love the World Cup. I haven't watched any of it since it just started. And I saw USA Wales, and I'm like, should I? It was a parlay. It was USA to get at least over 1.5 goals, so 2 goals at least, and Christian Pulisic to score, and someone else I've never heard of to score. And I thought about it. I didn't do it. But maybe I should. Should I dive into this World Cup betting?
He's from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
He is. Well, right. So I'm like, sure, Pennsylvania guy. Might as well put some money on him. And then I
played for Chelsea for a bit too.
Yeah.
I just need Netherlands right now. All right.
Oh yeah.
So my money is invested in Netherlands and Creighton.
Where are you getting this information though? How do you know who's good and who's not, and if they're gonna get 2 goals versus 3 goals or?
Well, that's the thing. I think the so one angle that's interesting to play, and I don't know enough about. You just have to research it. You'd have to look at teams. You'd have to look at really matchups, and I think letdown potential. But 2 bad teams, like what happened last night, Ecuador and Qatar were playing, right?
Yeah.
So there was a really good bet out there, which is those 2 teams playing to 0-0, because you had just, teams that struggle. But the problem is that it's soccer, much like hockey, right? Where it's like a mistake is not a 15-yard pass. A mistake is a goal. Mm-hmm. So you're getting odds to reflect that. But that's the only.
We had a penalty kick too to start that game. That's how they scored.
Wait. Wasn't that the game, Harry, that you said Ecuador might have been paid off?
That's the one against Qatar because
they won by 2.
They did. Obviously, they didn't take the bribe
Yep.
That's the first time a host country has lost in their opening game.
Well, they weren't meant really to do much.
No.
All right. Real quick, I did want to throw these two out here for Monday night, and we'll talk about these if they hit, of course, on Wednesday. But Robbie Gould is not a field goal kicker this year. The 49ers have not really relied on him. They have not really asked him to do so. But it correlates with me liking Arizona. It also, I think, correlates with the altitude here. All of a sudden, 4th down on the 42-yard line is a doable kick for a guy in Robbie Gould, who's 2 for 2, mind you, 50+.
Because of the altitude. Yeah.
You may not know this, but the Arizona Cardinals' main kicker, his hip is healthy. He's back. This guy it was only when he was hurt that Arizona had all those
What's
issues.
his name?
I think it's still Matt Prater, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. These guys change teams like.
No, I think Prater is back now. He's 8 of 8 on the year versus the NFC. They will kick with Colt McCoy. So I went over 3, and the 3 is the key here, not 3.5. So there is a push and play, but I laid 149 over 3 total field goals in the game, and I went over 1.5 field goals for Robbie Gould. All right, on our way out.
It is Prater.
Yeah, it is Prater. Yeah, I told you it's Prater. He was hurt. That was the only thing. And then Arizona didn't know what they were doing. So that was the Dicker, the kicker, beat up. Yeah, we'll get you, Cherico. NBA here. All right. I need to ask, we need to investigate something real quick before we get out of here. So let's run around rapid fire. Devin, you have anything from anything else? Monday night, Tuesday, soccer to ping pong to college to World Cup to anything in between before we bounce around here.
You know what? I might have to go back and place that before it starts. The bet on USA Wales. I believe it was USA to win. Christian Pulisic, at least 1.5 goals for US. Nice. Christian Pulisic, anytime goal. Or no, not even goal. See, this is how unfamiliar I am. Assist or cross the net. I don't know, guys.
Oh, wait a second. Is it a cross?
Let me pull it up. Actually, I think it's still
okay.
It's still in my queue.
But it's the same game parlay with Team USA winning. All right.
USA money line, over 1.5 goals. Gareth Bale to have 1 or more shots on target. Christian Pulisic to have 1 or more shots on target.
God bless you. Go ahead.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you.
Gareth Bale for Wales.
Did he just, yeah?
Yeah.
Harry, are you familiar? Is that bad? Is that
Bale's he's a longtime stud from the Premier League.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chances are somebody's going to be shooting on net. It'll be him.
It'll be him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a volatile sport, just so you know. All right. And it's probably, all this shit is probably fixed. That's all. All right, Harry, what do you got?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say for Tuesday, I've been like really bad at betting on NBA, especially like Sixers. And now with Maxey
everybody,
out,
by the way.
Yeah, with Maxey out, like I don't know what's going to happen for Sixers. I don't know if they play tonight, but I know they were playing the Nets tomorrow, so I don't know if I feel confident.
Yeah, Ben Simmons makes his return to Philadelphia.
Ben Simmons outshining Kyrie.
He had like 22 the other night, right?
Last night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, Harry, I don't know what you have today, and I don't know if this is on your radar, so let me preempt you and lean you into this conversation.
Temple St. John's tonight?
Yeah.
In Brooklyn?
I mean, here's the thing. It's a home game for St. John's, and they score a lot. Well, come on. I mean, it would be like if this game were played in Camden, right? Let's be honest, for Temple. I think the one issue I have here, like I'm so tempted to go over 150.5, but I don't know if Temple can keep up their end of the bargain. Like St. John's can defend, man. Like they've been able to defend. So
they haven't played anybody though.
Well, they haven't. Yeah. But I think over 150.5 might be the play for me. What do you think?
Well, I mean, Aaron McKee did the right thing with his Caleb Paddle problem. He got into his ass, and the kid performed.
Yep.
So I think that problem is over. So Battle's going to be a big part of their offense. If him and Hicks and Dunn are 3 guys that can score the basketball. So if Hicks and Battle are hitting threes, they could definitely eclipse that 150 number.
Do you like that better than a side?
Well, I'm taking Temple plus the 4.5, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but I'm a homer.
4. I don't like 4.
You don't?
4.5 I'll take.
What's the spread?
It's 4. Look at you. All right, Cherico. My God, as Devin mentioned, this sport right now has been an absolute shit show. Although I will say I am interested in a same game parlay. And I just want to see what the number is. A same game parlay plus 179. Jeremy Grant over 2.5. Anthony Simons 4 made threes.
I love that, especially they're going up against no Drew Holiday for the Bucks again. We talk about the perimeter defense constantly. They have Brook Lopez and Giannis, obviously, but those guys aren't stretching out to the three-point line. So I definitely like that. And Jeremy Grant has been probably the best offseason acquisition we've seen in the NBA. I mean,
he's Sixer.
Yeah, he's bolstered them, and I don't really understand why he hasn't found a home like that. You know, he's a very good role player, and now, I mean, they're sitting at the top of the West, so clearly they got something going on right with that. So I like it for sure. I am taking tonight. I know you had mentioned Creighton a little bit. I'm riding with them to cover that -3.5. Seeing how they beat up on UC Riverside last week, I took them covering, I think it was like 7 or so. And I took them covering that. It was very easy. I don't think Texas Tech really has the offensive firepower to compete with them. Creighton's shooting is just that much better. So I'm riding with them, -3.5. And then for the NBA, I mean, like you were saying, it's very volatile. I have one statistic. Buddy Hield has hit this line 90% of the time this season. So I'm starting to pull out a little more of the analytics. This is one of the most consistent prop in the NBA, and it's Buddy Hield over 22.5 points and assists. And he's hit this line, like I said, 90% of the time this season. And his line today is actually at 20.5. So we only need 21 now instead of 23. For -108, I'm going to be sticking with that one. And the Pacers are going up against
Magic at home. They just beat them by a point.
Yeah, and I think we talked about last week how bad their perimeter defense is. Magic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that one a lot. And then, unfortunately, I have SGA over 30.5 points against my Knicks tonight.
With the win. Same game parlay that with the win. You know what's happening.
Yeah, unfortunately. My heart won't want me to, but, man, yeah, it's rough out here.
What a weekend for you, Giants.
Yeah.
And then the Knicks.
Yeah, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa got re-signed. So I'm really just taking shots to the chest here.
Giants are coming back to their level.
We'll be back on Wednesday. Love it. You have a shit boatload of picks and information here for you from the four of us now on your way out. So hit the thumbs up button, please, if you haven't already. For Devin, Harry, Matt, I'm Eitan. We'll see you Wednesday.